Hey, what is going on everyone? It's MKP. I'm back from the depths of hell. I mean studying, so I wanted to make a video for you guys. This time, it's a little serious. We'll take a look at top 10 emotionally grabbing animes. Now, I don't know if you realize this, but these shows are my opinion, especially since it's about this genre. There are going to be shows on this list that didn't necessarily make me cry, but it made others cry and vice versa. Also, don't go typing in the comments saying, oh, you didn't include this anime on the list. You have no heart, kill yourself. I can say for certain that I do have a heart, and I don't plan on killing myself anytime soon. So just enjoy the video. Number 10. Sakurasou no Pet na Kanojo. Sakurasou is an anime about dreams, future goals, and all that, as it brings characters together, interested in all sorts of careers, into creating one final project that they will remember forever. Enough of the condescending intro. Main guy Sorata wants to be a game developer. Shina is a famous artist. Nanami wants to be a voice actress. Jin is a writer. Ryunosuke is a genius programmer. And Misaki wants to be an animator. They all live together in this one old dorm hall where they attend a high school focused on the arts, I think. I don't know, I haven't watched in a while. One day, Sorata wants to create a video game to add to his portfolio because he's having a hard time getting game companies to notice him. As lighthearted this sounds, the feels do exist. That's kinda why it's on the list. Without giving too much away, I guess the feels comes from the drama between the characters and their conflicts. This show does a good job in showing a lot of themes we can relate to in life. Mostly about talent versus hard work, how far our dreams go in the future. There's some friendship and romantic conflicts as well. All of this happens within the span of the 24 episodes, and it really feels like a roller coaster ride of feels. One episode it's all happy-go-lucky comedy, and one episode you just want to cry for some characters when reality in life hits them hard in the face. Overall, a decent watch, but the build-up to the end may take long if you don't attach yourselves to some of the characters along the way. Plastic memories. Ever see those apocalyptic movies where in the future humans have met robots who try to coexist with humanity? Well, this show isn't like that. In the show, a corporation has patented this invention of human-like androids with synthetic souls called Giftias. The reason why I think that these robots don't go freaking Terminator on humanity is that they feel genuinely humane themselves, and sometimes you forget they're made out of metal and wiring. But the main reason is that they have a major flaw. A Giftia can only live for 81,920 hours. That's about 9 years before they lose their memories. Hence the title, Plastic Memories. God, here comes the feel strain. Not only do they lose their memories, they go uncontrollably berserk. So the terminal service department has to collect these expired Giftias before that happens. The main protagonist is Tsukasa. Hey, Mikasa Tsukasa! He is part of this service department that collects expired Giftia. The main purpose of the show is to highlight the relationship between Tsukasa and his partner at the department, a Giftia named Ayla. I don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say their relationship has some ups and downs, and it's what causes most of the feels you get from the show. Being 13 episodes, I would say it's a good investment of your time. Okay, next one. Hotarubi no Mori E. I'm sure you know about the saying, good things come in small packages. It's an overused quote because everyone can relate to it. Hotarubi no Mori E is loosely translated to into the forest of Firefly's light. Try saying that 5 times fast. Into the forest of Firefly's light, 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 into the forest of Firefly's light. This short film is about 40 minutes long, and damn, it packs a lethal punch. It's basically a cute tale about a little 6-year-old girl named Hotaru Takegawa falling in love with a masked spirit named Gin. I swear, this is not a pedophilic show in any way. Just hear me out. The catch of the film is that Gin never ages, and Hotaru cannot make physical contact with him because he will disappear. I hope you're starting to see where the emotional roller coaster is heading. Every summer, they meet, and their relationship starts to grow. At first as friends, because Gin just sees her as some little brat. However, every year, Hotaru ages, but Gin doesn't, and year by year, their age gap starts to diminish. It only takes 40 minutes to create such a story that will get you attached to the characters and hopefully love them, only to feel a void when the film ends because you realize that's the end. The whole story is displayed as a memory of Hotaru's older self of back when she was a little kid, and that's the best way I can describe the show without spoiling. It's a memory, a really freaking emotional memory at that, goddamn. Okay, next one, Little Busters. This time I'm gonna talk about Little Busters, including its sequel, Little Busters Refrain. And I do this for good reason. This is a show that's hard to get into because no one can tell you the best part of the show without spoiling the best part of the show. Confused yet? Basically, Riki Naoe has a tragic past with his parents dying. One fateful day, a group of misfits invite him to their group. And as they grow up, he starts to cope with his problems, and he starts to really feel like a family with the group of friends he made. The first season is about the group spending their last year together because one of them is graduating without them, as it's his last year. I know it sounds so boring, it's like every high school slice of life filler you can ever find. But there's a catch. Riki Naoe's friend, Rin, finds a really sketchy letter telling them to do all these sorts of tasks to find the secret of the world. Now this secret is really important, and it turns the show 180 degrees once you figure it out. Problem is that you don't get to really know this secret until the next season, Lil Buster's Refrain. To show how freaking impactful this secret really is, look on my anime list. The average score of Lil Buster Season 1 is like a 7.66. And it jumps to a freaking 8.39 in Lil Buster's Refrain. To put things into perspective, the show's score basically goes from Sword Art Online Fairy Arc level to freaking Attack on Titan level. I really don't want to spoil this, but all I can say is, not everything in Season 1 is as normal you may think it may be. Just remembering, the feels-driven Season 2 will make up for the slow Season 1. Okay, Toradora. I gotta admit, this show is gonna get a lot of bias from me because it's the show that really got me into anime, and it's safe to say I wouldn't be so into anime without the help of the show. The show is centered on the romance between these high school students who become close friends. Ryuji is the main protagonist, who's mistaken to be a thug because of his looks, but he's actually a kind guy on the inside who loves to clean. Taiga, also a main character, looks cute on the outside, but can actually pack a heavy punch. These two join forces to help each other on their love lives, and this is the premise of the show. Simple as it may sound, the story poses a lot of problems and conflicts between the characters, and that's where the emotions run wild. I don't have much to say because I don't want to reveal too much. A lot of people find themselves emotionally invested into the plot and characters, and I was one of those people. If you manage to end up like that, let me tell you, you are in for a treat, because this ain't a boring ass straight line romantic show. There are twists and turns, a lot of screaming, some crying, yelling, and even fighting. This show's probably my #1 most favorite anime of all time, but I can't argue the fact that the anime above on this list can do a better job with their crazy amount of feels. Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso, or Your Lie in April. This show just ended last year. Already ranked number 14 overall in scores in my anime list with an 8.93. That means, on average, half of the people who scored this show rated a 9 or above. It is freaking crazy. You may ask, overhyped much? I think it's really a matter of opinion. I feel like the show could hit harder to certain types of people than others. But either way, you're gonna get hit. I'll keep this summary short because it's so easy to spoil this show, it's almost funny. Arima Kosei is a child prodigy at the piano due to his talent and his strict abusive mother who taught him from the very beginning. After his mom dies, he is traumatized and stops playing piano, and his life as a musician stops. A few years later, he meets a girl named Kaori Miyazono, a musician, who falls in love with Arima's best friend, soccer superstar that all the girls love. I won't explain further, but let's just say throughout the 22 episodes, Arima starts to face his feelings, his trauma, and all his struggles slowly but surely after the meeting between him and this girl. I would say it's worth a watch, and I can say this because I'm actually in the process of rewatching it. And damn, the second time watching it is actually almost as good, if not as good as watching it the first time. This is mainly because the whole show looks different when you know what the lie is of the show, hence the name Your Lie in April. Okay, moving on to 5 centimeters per second. It is said that a cherry blossom petal falls at a rate of 5 centimeters per second, and in this movie, the petals look gorgeous. Like, look at this animation. Oh yes. Like I mentioned, 5 centimeters per second is a movie, spanning at an hour long, separated into 3 different sections. The movie is a tale of a love that's slowly torn apart because the lovers move further away, both literally and emotionally. Its underlying themes are beautifully executed. It's about growing up, letting go of an unreachable past, and taking control of your life. Though they're not necessarily very obvious throughout the movie, the final scene was able to wrap up these themes through the decisions the characters make in the end. Speaking of the final scene,
in the world. Today is also a chance for Americans, especially our young people, to say thank you for all the things we love from Japan. like karate and karaoke, manga, and anime.
In my opinion, this movie can be really lethal to the feels, because it really hits home, especially about the themes about letting go of the past. Sometimes it's hard for us to do that, so it's great to see the drama in action through the eyes of the main character of the film. The emotions you get from the show isn't really a sad feeling where you want to cry like a bitch. It's more like you feel a little torn as you watch the characters grow and leave things that were once important behind. It's an hour long. I'd advise watching it before you go to bed, after you brush your teeth and all that. Trust me, you need to be relaxed to experience this unforgettable journey. Angel Beats. Angel Beats is really smart when it comes to drawing out emotions, because they build it really subtly. It's like one of those things where you just don't judge a book by its cover. Because on the cover, Angel Beats is a comedy show about some friends doing some stupid shit, living like there's no tomorrow. See, the thing is, for the characters in Angel Beats, there literally is no tomorrow. The story takes place in the afterlife, in between life and reincarnation. Oh, but you guessed it, the afterlife takes place at a freaking high school. Cliche as it may sound, the setting contributes to that cover I was talking about. Sure, it's a show about high school kids fooling around in class, pulling off crazy stunts in public, and just overall having a good time. But as you watch more, there's something deeper. My favorite character would probably be TK.
My turn. Huh? Get chance and luck. Check this out, it's a move.
You get to a point in the anime where you get to see some of the backstories behind the members of the brigade. That's when you realize it's not just an ordinary comedy high school blog that you don't give two shits about. It's an anime I will probably remember until I die. Okay, special mentions. Before we end this video with our last two, I would like to mention some worthy anime that should have been on the list given certain circumstances. Here's Wolf Children, Garden of Words, Kokoro Connect. Here are some anime that is not really focused on drama and emotions, but still pack a punch due to its clever plot development, strong conclusions, and all around great characters that you can sympathize with. Code Geass, Parasite the Maxim, Guilty Crown, Mirai Nikki, and Steins Gate. Okay, on to the last two. Now disclaimer warnings. I find these next two series very debatable on their placing. If I were you, I wouldn't worry about how they're placed and just accept them both as equally refreshing emotional anime. At number 2, Clannad. Now, if I didn't include the series anywhere on my list, I'm pretty sure I would piss off the vast majority of the anime watchers that are looking at the list. And I say this with good reason. Clannad is literally the poster child of sad and emotional anime, and I can say confidently that the vast majority can agree. There is no real debate. Clannad follows a motherless teenage boy whose father drinks and gambles. The boy's name is Okazaki Tomoya. The whole plot is hard to summarize because the story is split into many arcs, each of which focus on certain characters from the cast. Each arc follows a rinse and repeat formula. Introduce characters, develop characters, cry for characters. Introduce characters, develop characters, cry for characters. Obviously some arcs are better than the other, but you get the idea. It is undeniable that the after story is what makes Clannad so great. See, but this doesn't mean the first season was as slow as Little Buster's first season. Look at its score right here. It jumps from an 8 to a 9, both of which are really good scores, don't get me wrong. But looking at this, it shows that the main attraction lies in the second season. What makes after story so amazing, you may ask? It's probably because of its ending. Probably one of the most well executed anime conclusions of all time. It's the type of ending that will leave you thinking about life. It's the type of ending where you just gotta stand up and stare at a wall for 20 minutes thinking about how well this show ended. My main advice for you when attacking this anime is to survive the first season, just like I recommended with Little Busters, and get attached to the characters. It'll make the whole ride even better. With number 1 comes Hana, the flower we saw that day. His first Blu-ray volume sold more than 31,000 copies in the first week of release. At the time, that first week's sales figure was the 3rd highest for a first volume Blu-ray release of a television anime. Hana received the Jury Selection Award in the Animation Division of 15th Japan Media Arts Festival. I gave you the facts, now onto the why. Hana is a 11 episode anime about a group of kids who were really close until a fateful accident. When one of the members, Menma, died, everything changed. About 11 years later, the group of friends split up. In actuality, each and every one of them are affected by what happened in the past, but they close these feelings off from each other. so they separated. The selling point of the show is watching how past friends interact with each other, now that they really aren't as close as they used to be. Like Clannad, it has a well-executed ending, but what makes it slightly higher than Clannad in my opinion is that it is able to execute the story in the span of 11 episodes. For this show, it only takes 11 episodes to achieve an ending that I will never forget. It has a really great rewatch value, and that's why I regard it higher than Clannad. With that said, don't get your panties in a knot just because I said Hana is slightly better. They are equally really high level shows. See, when it comes to anime, you don't have to choose one or the other. Just watch them both. Well, that is my top sad, emotional / deep, whatever you may call it, Feelsy anime of all time. Now, if you liked the video, give the video a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a dislike, whatever. I try to welcome constructive criticism. With that, it has been MKP, and I'm out. Have a good day, everyone.